morning and happy hump day on this Wednesday. Got a lot of things that we're going to cover today. Welcome to the Big Rich Live on the Mic show for our second episode. Thanks to all of you that commented, viewed, shared, emailed on our first episode. I appreciate all of your time that you gave us and all the constructive criticism that you gave us. It's an early show. It's a small show. We're trying to get it together. It's going to take some while, but we're going to do it real good. We're going to do it real good. Keep bringing that fire for you. So the first thing we want to talk about is building up and giving back to small businesses, entrepreneurial businesses, black, white, brown, yellow, red, whatever. But I'm thinking, I get a lot of emails and a lot of tweets about small businesses because I'm a small business owner also. I said before that I am a law enforcement official, so I do that as my main job. But I do have a small business that I've had for I want to say 15 years now, and we're doing okay. Um, so it's like basically we need to cash mob these people, and people don't understand what cash mob means. Cash mob is basically donating, get with people, um, give them dollars, give them volunteer your services, something like that to help them grow, expand, um, do their niche. Because we go, I'm not saying don't go to Walmart or Target or anything like that, or Sears or Mall. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is a lot of these businesses, especially these web-based businesses and stuff that are, mom and pop shops or, young, energetic entrepreneurs are like web-based. So you might, instead of getting this service and order it from Walmart.com or something like that, try to look and see if maybe you got some local constituents and stuff, some local young upcoming business persons, man or woman, and cash mob them. Try to frequent their business and do what you can to help them out. That's what America should stand for. The entrepreneurial spirit. The small businessman. I mean, shoot, Walmart and Disney and all of them started out real small. Real small. Everybody, that's big now. These Fortune 500 companies, most of them, the majority of them, started out real small. Small independent businesses. So, well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to support small business. I don't have a lot in. Actually, I really don't have any that I'm going to push right now. But Crack Stab's going to get on it, and what we're going to do is from now on, every show after we give thanks to our sponsors and stuff like that, give a little shout out to them because they keep the lights on, paying the bills. But I want to give like one, two, maybe even three small businesses that you might want to check out and see if you can invest in it. Cash mob, get them that maybe that little push that will put them over the top to expand and grow. So now let's skip to our sponsors. 1pps.com, 1pps Incorporated, based out of Orlando, Florida since 2001. They're professional, knowledgeable in all facets of security, personal and business. Look them up, www.one-pps.com. Simply the best. All right, now. Well, we got that out the way. Now we're going to talk about our stories. First story we're going to talk about. We're going to try to end it really, end the speculation and stuff. But everybody should have heard by now. I think the decision came down Monday that no charges going to be filed against the parents of the gorilla on the Cincinnati Zoo. Well, I don't understand the parents because as far as we knew that the dad wasn't there, the mom. Now, I personally, to me, it's different. I have personal feelings and then I have, you know, business or law enforcement opinions. I'm like, hey, look, if there's, if what they did is, or what she did, I'm sorry, doesn't rise to the threshold of a crime or that there is no crime or stuff like that, then by all means, don't charge it. We shouldn't be backdating, making up charges, trying to bend charges, a statute to cover this. It what she did, didn't amount to criminal behavior, and she shouldn't have been charged. Now, as far as monetary value, I don't know, but I mean, shoot, how much is a gorilla? I don't have that type of money to be giving up, to bring another silverback gorilla over. So I don't know if that'll work either. I'm not trying to get in their pocket. I don't know. You but something where he lost me. It's Joseph Ditter. He's the prosecuting attorney in Hamilton County, Ohio, and he said that the information that they got was that the mother turned away for a few seconds to attend to another one of her children, and that's when the 3-year-old was able to climb in the gorilla enclosure. Well, first of all, he was 4; he wasn't 3. Um, but if you look at the enclosure, okay, it was more than a few seconds. It was a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't embellish it where it's like, okay, well, let me speak false truths and stuff like that. Let me exaggerate it so it will defend my position. It wasn't a few seconds. It was a few minutes. Okay? I mean, come on now, So, everybody's sorry. He ended up saying, I'm sorry for the loss of the gorilla, but nothing about the situation rises to the level of criminal charge. That's what I 100% agree with, and that's what he should have said. But again, when you know the people are going to be outraged and you want to try to get them off your back, sometimes you want to embellish things and exaggerate things that she was doing. One quote he has said something about, if people have kids, they understand how it can be that you would lose track of them. Like I said before, on the Sunday show, I got a child. I ain't never lose my child. You know what I'm saying? Never. Knock on wood or whatever. Maybe I was lucky, but I ain't never lose my child. And I dang sure would have had my hands on my children if I'm in an area like a zoo, an amusement park, just a regular park, the beach. You got to, that's your responsibility. It really is your responsibility. And like I said before, that wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was negligence. Now, does it rise to the level of gross negligence, or where DCF, Department of Children and Family Service, got to get involved? No, I don't believe that at all. The child got lucky. That the gorilla did not do any permanent damage. I mean, and actually, let me take a step back. We don't know what type of permanent damage psychologically this could do down the road. We don't know. Now, we all know he got a couple of cuts and bruises. He got skinned up a little bit, but other than that, we really don't know how deep. If the child's having nightmares or whatever like that. So, and I hope that's not the case. So, we keep praying for, the boy. Make sure that he doesn't have any lasting effects psychologically. But we'll have to see. But no child is foul, so I concur. I concur with that. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about this. Actually, this happened last week. The convention came down, but I didn't get a chance to cover it on my earlier show. But it's the actor from the Shield actor, Michael Jace, that was convicted of second degree murder for fatally shooting his wife in 2014 in front of the couple's 2 children. Now, you could say rumor. I don't know if it was particularly covered in the trial because I didn't watch the trial. I'm just going by articles that I've read and Twitter posts and stuff like that. But I know the original rumor was that the wife had asked him for a divorce, basically saying she didn't want to be messed up with him no more, and she was leaving him. And he pulls out his gun and he shot her. Now, what I've read in the beginning was that he didn't want to kill her. He just wanted to scare her. Well, if you wanted to scare her, Not saying that you should have. Okay, let me. I'm not. I'm not saying that you should use guns and knives and stuff like that to scare people. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you're gonna scare somebody, if that's what you're just trying to do, and then you have a gun and you just crazy enough or not to use it, you show it, you brandish it, you point it, you don't pull the trigger, and then not only that, you do this in front of your kids, your two boys. Really? I mean, and some people say, hey, well, sometimes you see red, you black out, you're not really in control of what you're saying. And that was his defense. His defense was, a momentary rage and stuff like that he had. And that's why he, just went black and did what he did in front of his sons and stuff. But again, like I've always said before, there's consequences and repercussions to everything you do. Okay, you killed a person. You killed your wife. You killed your wife at your home. You killed your wife at your home in front of your kids. Brother, you through. You finished. They said that he faces 40 years to life in prison. And he's going to be sentenced June 10th. So that'll be, what's that, like Thursday, Friday, something like that. I got my dates. But it's going to be this week sometime. He through. He can cancel Christmas. And then not only is you can cancel Christmas as far as his freedom, but what about his boys? What about his kids? It says the actor was upset that his wife, her name was April Jace, God rest her soul, rest in peace, wanted a divorce when he shot her once in the back, twice more in the leg. You was trying to do some damage. How you shoot somebody in the back? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how do you shoot somebody in the back? Originally the prosecutors had asked the jury to find Jace guilty of first-degree murder, which involves premeditation. But it's kind of hard to prove premeditation. I think first-degree murder is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, to of the murder charges. Because rape and other stuff like that is hard to prove also, because a lot of times with rape, you have, it's just two people, he say, she say, that type, or he say, or she say, she say, whatever the deal is. But it's kind of hard to show somebody's premeditation unless you have a note, unless you have planning, like, when people try to poison other people or something like that, you can subpoena their cell phone records. You can subpoena their computers and look at what they um, searched on the internet, and then you can develop premeditation that way. But it's kind of hard. But the jury in Los Angeles Superior Court instead found Jace guilty of second-degree murder. The intentional killing was not premeditated. I agree with that. From what I know, again, I wasn't there. I don't know Mr. Jace. He could have been planning. He could have maybe thought that she was going to, or had knowledge that she was going to ask him for a divorce weeks ago, and then planned it. And then he was like, "Well, hey, if she says it, then I'm gonna go ahead and deal with her the way I need to. But hey, um, wow, you know what I'm saying? But some quotes from Jace's attorney says our entire goal was to show that this was not a case of premeditation. We achieved that goal. So basically, even them going in, they was like, yeah, he shot her, but it wasn't premeditated. So basically, it was like, okay, well, I know I did it, but I'm trying not to get the chair. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if they do the chair out there in California. But anyway, I just don't want to be set to death. But my thing is, I don't want to do 40 years to life in prison neither. So to me, I mean, if you up for the murder charges and you know you did it, then you ask yourself, do I really want to sit in jail for the rest of my life? My kids, my boys gonna hate me. It's not like his boys is, and I don't know who's watching the children now, but it's not like they gonna bring him to see Jace, unless it's Jace mama that's watching the kids, then she probably will do that. But then they always got to remember that he shot their mama. So I don't know, he threw, really, I mean, the jury was only out 2 hours considering the case before the verdict was the reaching the verdict. So that they knew from the get go. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then again, I think it came out in the testimony that he admitted that he shot her. He just didn't do it with premeditation. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know what goes on in our brains. Um, Men and women, black and white, don't make a difference. I just don't understand what goes on in our brains when we're with somebody and they decide at one time or another that they don't want to be messed up with us no more. They don't want to be with us no more. So instead of, all right, cool, go on about your business, just that and the third, you want to stalk her, you want to name her, you want to kill her. I mean, I think everybody listening to this radio show at one time or another, either been involved in or know somebody been involved in a case where it's a breakup. The breakup is kind of bad, and one person just can't get over it, and the constant calls, the constant texts, you going to their house. I mean, give me a break. I mean, I remember one case back in the day, I was dating this young lady, and I went to pick her up. We was going to the movies. I forgot what movie we was going to see. But I pulled up in my whip, called her, she came on to the car, and she said, "You see that guy sitting over there in the car?" And across the parking lot there was a car backed in, and I ain't really even see anybody in there. But when I looked, I was like, "Dang, look!" She said, "Yeah, that's my baby's daddy." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, he crazy. Okay, he ain't said nothing to me. I pushed on. So we went to dinner, the movies, and then we went to the park to just sit around because she had like 3 or 4 loud behind roommates. So we need some privacy. We wanted to just talk and chill out for a little bit. So I think I brought her home probably about 2:30 in the morning. That fool was still there, still there. So you got to imagine the mentality of somebody to see you going out with somebody or see that you've moved on with your life, but they still so infatuated that they right up on you. I mean, I I don't have the patience. Anybody who knows me, I don't have the patience. If I tell you I'm coming to get you at 5 o'clock, or I need you to come get me at 5 o'clock, I need you to come get me at 5 o'clock. I need you to step outside at 5 o'clock. I don't have the patience. I get mad about 5, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I'm mad. Okay, because I'm like, look, I told you what time I either was landing or there. I don't have the patience for that. This dude had the patience to sit out there. Lord knows how long he was there from the jump. But if he just got there when I picked her up and then was still there when I dropped her off, that's about 5, 6 hours. He just sitting there stewing. See, that's crazy. That's certifiable. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Anyway, I done put my little crazy scenarios out. I like to know how many people had a similar scenario. I mean, be honest. You be honest. Comment down below and let me know. Okay, we're gonna move on to Lord have mercy. We're gonna move on to this middle school teacher in Alabama, the great state of Alabama. We pretty much know where I'm going with this, but the racist math test about pimps and hoes. When somebody and I'm sorry, I forget who texted this to me. I'm sorry, tweeted it to me to cover. I thought they was bull crapping. I really did. I thought that, yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm not blind to the fact that racism is real in this country, you know. Um, but I didn't think that this was, I thought I was being punked. I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. So I started doing the research. And I found out that not only this test was given, okay, to 8th grade students. This test, if you do the research, and I implore you to do so, this particular test has been around for years, all over the country, all over in different, not just the state of Alabama, all over the country. So I got a copy of a test, and I put it up. You can see it now. So you can see that these questions are real. Now I'm gonna read a couple of these questions, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion. The number one, the first one, you get up when you jump off. It says Ramon has an AK-47 with a 30 round clip. He usually missed 6 out of every 10 shots, and he uses 13 rounds per drive-by shooting. How many drive-by shootings can Ramon attempt before he has to steal enough ammunition and reload? What? I mean, you certain times stuff like this. It gets past. It gets past. How would you say? It gets past rage. You just got to laugh at stuff like this. When you sit back and you be like, and again, I'm not taking light of this. If anybody think I am, please, I'm not. It's just that you get to the point, you done pass rage, you done pass anger, and now you are just at disbelief and laughter. This is ridiculous. That's the first test. That's the first question. And according to reports, this teacher said, yes, this is a real test, and yes, it is mandatory for you to take it. And if you don't take it, or if you fail it, that's gonna go against your grade. Really? Okay. Let's go down to five. It says Desmond gets $200 for a stolen BMW, 150 for stealing a Corvette, and 100 for a 4x4. If he steals one BMW, two Corvettes, and three 4x4s, how many more Corvettes must he steal to have $900? Wow. I mean, you I just it's just disbelief. It really is. It is just stone cold disbelief at some of these things. Here's a number 9. It says LaShonda is a lookout for a gang. Lacuna also has a boa constrictor that eats 5 rats per week at a cost of 5 per rat. If LaShonda makes $700 a week as a lookout, how many weeks can she feed her boa in 1 week's income? What? I mean, really? You just scratch your head. And the thing is, looking at some of the news clips and stuff, the kids was funny because some of this is funny when you look at it outside of this context. Well, if you look at it within context, it ain't funny at all. It's very, very, very disconcerting. It's very, it brings out a lot of emotions, and it makes you wonder what is up with people. Really, what I mean, when you sit down, let's just think this out. I'm a teacher, okay? I'm a teacher, white, black, I don't care, old, young. I see this test and I read the questions. The first question, Ramon. Second, Leroy. Third, Dwayne. Fourth, Raul. 5, Desmond. 6, Pedro. Drop down to 8, Tyrone. 9, LaShonda. And 10, Marvin. Now, if I'm not mistaken, those sound like African American names, Hispanic names. Maybe Marvin. I know a couple Marvins that are white guys. But it said, let's read the Marvin one. It says, Marvin steals Juan's skateboard. As Marvin skates away at 15 miles per hour, Juan loads his 357 Magnum. If it takes Juan 20 seconds to load his piece, how far away will Marvin be when he gets whacked? Really? But anyway, getting back to what I was starting to say. If you're a teacher and this comes across your desk, or you see it online, or it's emailed to you, what is going through your mind when you feel that, okay, I'm going to download this, or I'm going to do a screenshot, or I'm going to copy it, whatever. I'm going to print it up and I'm going to administer it to my kids in 8th grade. You got to ask yourself what is going on in these people's minds. Now, it's a elderly, what I want to say, not elderly, but it's an older uh, white teacher in Alabama, in Mobile, Alabama. Burns Middle School was the school, and apparently they're saying that this is her last year, and she was going to retire at the end of the school year. So I don't know if it's one of those things that she felt, hey, I'm leaving anyway. I don't know. Her name is Joanne Bolster, Bolser, a longtime teacher described by colleagues to the local NBC affiliate. It's a well-respected educator, but she was put on paid administrative leave after the parents complained to the school about the content, the test that she had handed out. Now, let me cover one other thing when we talk about teachers, because to me, I believe being a teacher, being an educator, is one of the hardest and the least um, appreciated endeavors, fields, whatever. You have young minds that you mold. You think about it, a lot of times, especially when you have parents, either both parents working, or you have a single parent household where the single parent is working 2 or 3 jobs, or you have, like I said, both parents working and they do like big high end jobs where they're always gone. So you are raised by a nanny or something like that. If you take all of that in consideration, our children spend more time in class listening to this particular educator than they do at home with us. And a lot of times when you're at home and your parents at home, what do? What do kids do? Come in, kiss you on the cheek, if that's the type of relationship you got. Go upstairs, close their door, do their homework, jump on the Xbox or the PlayStation, or on Twitter, they're on the internet, this, that, and the third. Facebook used to be. So even if you home, a lot of children have very small and manageable interaction with their parents. So you are in the presence of these educators more times a day than you are with your parents. So I'm an advocate that all classes shouldn't be stringent. Like if you go to this English class and you go to this English class, because see, I'm from New York. We had like, my graduating class was 2,800. There was close to 10,000 students in my high school. So you have 5 different or 4 different English classes, all like quote unquote English 101, this, that, and the third. But if you go to each class, all of them are not the same. Yes, they teach the same curriculum, but they do it differently. And I believe in individuality. I believe that a educator should be able to put some gusto, put some spice um, in their curriculum, the way they teach, the way they come across, this, that, and all that. However, stuff like this gives credence to people who want just the straight, no frills. This is it. This is all it's going to be. Okay, this is what you got to teach. This is what they got to learn, and that's it. And that's not really the way it should be. But you have to ask yourself, what was on her mind? But it's not just her. When you find out that this test has been around for decades, for years, and given out in many classes. Now, as far as we know, as far as is being reported on national media, is that most of the time, if not all of the time that the test has been given, it is somebody has blown the whistle and that particular educator has been, held responsible, which they should be. And I feel And I'm not an advocate for people losing their jobs because they got to feed their family also. But I am definitely somebody that feels that if you can't be trusted to do the right thing, then you don't need to be educating our kids. Period. I mean, if you don't have the common sense, and I understand some people are saying, well, Rich, common sense ain't common for everybody. And that's 100% true. But if you don't have the common sense and the common decency to understand that this test is unacceptable in any facets of life and in the educational curriculum, then you don't need to be an educator. You really don't. So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep on it. Anybody got any other thing, any other details that I didn't cover on that there? Drop the comments down below. Let us know. But we'll keep up on this development, and we'll keep reporting. This came into my box yesterday. I have to apologize. I really wasn't up on the whole case, but the Stanford swimmer uh, that was convicted of sexual assault of an unconscious woman, uh, and he had his sentence. He got his sentence, and he got 6 months. 6 months. 6 months. Now, what I want you guys to do is go on the Associated Press. I think CNN has it also, but you go to AssociatedPress.com and read the victim's letter to uh, to the judge. It is 10, 12 pages, so I'm not going to read it all, but it's powerful. It's powerful. And you don't really understand how the justice system is broken when you see that somebody gets 6 months for sexual assault. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months for a felony. Sexual assault is a felony. 6 months. The judge, Aaron Parsky, sentenced the 20-year-old Brock Turner to 6 months in jail for sexually assaulting a woman who was unconscious and intoxicated. The attack was interrupted by two graduate students who saw him assaulting a partially clothed woman behind a trash bin. Turner tried to flee, but the students tackled and pinned him down until the police arrived and arrested him. Let's talk about this on two separate facets. I lecture women all over the state, and hopefully, once I retire, start doing things on safety, you know. And I get some pushback on people, on some women who say that, well, I should be able to wear. I'm grown. This is a free country. I should be able to wear what I want to do. And if I want to get drunk, then then I can get drunk, and I shouldn't have to worry about being assaulted by some fool because I do. And I agree with that 100%. But what I tell the audience is that it goes back to consequences and repercussions to everything we do. A lot of times when we have consequences if they're negative, we don't deserve them. It's just how life is. It is just how this sick, twisted world is. I tell people this: if you want to go out there and get drunk, get drunk. If you want to wear a tight mini skirt, as long as it's within taste, it ain't showing your Johnson and stuff like that you're gonna go to jail for, do it. This is a free country, but you have to put yourself in a position that I'm always protected. So if I know, let's just say it's my birthday. I'm a young female. It's my birthday, or I just graduated, or I got engaged, or I got divorced, whatever the deal is, and I want to go out, and I know I'm gonna get lit. Then you got to make sure that you have people within your group that are not drinking that always got your back. Okay, so you can go out there and get drunk and know that, okay, my sister here, my brother here, whatever the deal is, and I don't mean that inherently. I just mean that, if This is my friend. I call her my brother. This is my friend. She's a female. I call her my sister. So at least you know that you got coverage. You know what I'm saying? I have somebody who has my back. But see, that goes for men also. See, I don't want women to think that I'm picking on you. That goes for men also. If I'm drunk, let's think about it now. I come out the club. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm sitting around there trying to holler at some females or whatever. I strike out. I got to walk back to my car. Now I'm drunk. Now I just happen to have on my nice watch, my nice jewelry, this, that, and the third. I got, got some Air Force Ones and I'm looking clean. Okay, but I'm drunk. I'm very inebriated. And I got to walk through an alley to get to my car. I walk through the alley and get clobbed upside the head, and I go home in my drawers. If I get to go home at all, because now some of these cats out here trying to steal your life, as well as your clothes. You got cats out there trying to steal the feelings out of your teeth. You mess around. So what I say to on that passage, it just lets you be smarter. And again, I don't know all the details. I mean, I'm going to read. I'm about halfway through her letter. It looks like she explained everything. It might not be that way in this case, but what I'll say is something failed for her to end up unconscious and inebriated behind a trash bin. Something failed. Either her friends, something failed in her preparation to allow herself to be in that position. Now again, it's not her fault. It was just bad planning. You have to plan. So I tell my daughter, I was like, look, you want to go out, you go out. My daughter is very athletic, very beautiful. I know men out there trying to holler, but I was like, you got to make sure that you always in control of your faculties. Somebody send you a drink and you ain't seen it being prepared, you don't take it. And if the person comes up and they cute or whatever, and you want to say, look, I don't, if you want to buy me a drink, you can buy me another one where I can see it. I don't take drinks from strangers when I don't see it. It's just my own protection. You know. And if they don't like it, tell them to kick rocks. And you go out with people if you know, okay, look, I'm me and my partner going out, but I know this food is a lush, but I want to get drunk. Then I need to bring somebody else, or I need to make sure that I don't drink. Somebody has to be in control of your faculties at all times. So just plan. That's all I'm saying. I'm not blaming anybody or anything like that. Like I said, there's consequences and repercussions to everything that we do, and a lot of times, them consequences and them repercussions, especially if they're negative, are not our fault. But it's just piss poor planning. We didn't plan the night out. I don't know how many times I get tweets and emails. Oh, well, we went out and me and my girlfriend went out. My girl ran into her man, or she got with this other dude. I rode with her. I couldn't find her. She went somewhere with this guy. I was stuck. I barely got home, or vice versa. Fellas, the same way. You can't put yourself in that position. You can't put yourself, and I'm not talking about this rape position. I'm talking about, excuse me, I'm talking about being robbed. I'm talking about being murdered, stuff like that. We're going to talk about uh, victims probably on Saturday's show, but I just say this because it breaks it down a little bit um, to this. If you think about it, I want everybody who's listening to this, I want everybody to just think about it. Have an out of body experience and just think about it. If you think real hard, there are very few victims, true victims of crime. Very few true victims of crime. And what I mean by that is where you laying in your house, somebody kicking your door, and you get hurt. You follow what I'm saying? That's a true victim. You walking down the street, you riding a train and somebody assaults you and everybody saw it, but nobody says anything or stop. That's a true victim. But when we put ourselves in position, I think about all the times that I put myself in a bad position. Where I got to I got to drive in a a crazy state. You know, when I'm stuck, I done lost my wallet. Shoot, I got robbed when I was young. I'm from New York. I got robbed a couple of times. You know, because I put myself in that position. The only true victims are the elderly and the young. They don't know no, they either don't know no better because they're young, and they can't do anything about it because they're old. If you think, and I know a lot of people gonna be pissed off. Some people, not a lot of people, some people gonna be pissed off. Oh, Rich, you full of crap. This, that, and the third. You just blaming the victim. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, if we think about it, everything that you went through, I want everybody who listens to think things that you've been through. Did you put yourself in that position, or did you set yourself on that path to get hurt? You know, this goes for relationships. We know we are very intelligent. You know when you're with a person. You know when you meet a person and that person ain't, excuse my French, but that person ain't shit. You know it. We can sit up and say, oh, well, they were just, yeah, okay. I'm sitting at a club. I'm at a function, cookout, church, whatever. We talking, we talking to the night. Yeah, okay. You slip something by me then. We talk for a week. Yeah, you might slip, but after a while, and I mean clear, clear cut cases where you can sit down and be like, I knew that person wasn't shit. I knew that person wasn't right, but I kept on down that road. A lot of us say, hey, I'm grown. I'm better than ain't nobody get over on me. Please, please. Okay, so we'll get on to that. We'll talk about it on Saturday's show because I know a lot of people had a lot of questions and a lot of back and forth and stuff like that. I just wanted to put that out. But getting on the other end of this story, when we're talking about the Stanford swimmer, you got to look at this person's upbringing. Okay, you can think about the person's upbringing because if you look at what his father said 6 months was too much for 20 minutes of work. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. Go online, Google Sanford swimmer's father's statement and see what he said if you don't believe me. That's a mentality of I can do what I want to do and you can't do nothing about it. And if you do something about it, it better be very minimal. This woman was raped. She was raped, sexually assaulted on the ground near a dumpster. Now, how many people have been to the club and saw a dumpster in the front where the light is of a club? No, I've never seen that. It's always where? On the side or in the back. And those are both alleys or usually alleys, and both of those areas are not well lit. Okay? Is that someplace? Think about it. That's your girl now. Now I know we get our freak on and stuff like that. So I know people say, yeah, Rich, I do that all the time. But is that someplace that you want to take your significant other to have sex? On the floor? Probably the ground is cold, nasty ground behind a dumpster. Really? So you just saw that this man, this, and I call him a man. Yeah, he's a lot younger than me, but he's a man. This man did not give a damn. He saw something, he wanted it, he took it. Whether she wanted it or not, be damned all that. He was going to do that. But then he sit around 6 months in jail. Now, what I'm hoping is, because there's really no way that his sentence can be extended because this judge, and I'll put out his name again, Santa Clara County Superior Court Judge Aaron Persky, Persky. But I'm hoping that he has to register as a sex offender and this follows him for the rest of his life. It's his own fault. It's his own fault. And he got 6 months. And I want to see as a felony where they gonna put it. 6 months. He might do them 6 months in the county jail and never have to go to prison. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the state of California. But just look at him. Look at him. You see the pictures up there. Look at him. Oh, I'm just this poor, good kid that just made one mistake. No, that's in your DNA. One of my best friends has a saying. It said, "It's a flaw in one's character." That's a flaw in his character. That's not the first time he done did that. And I'm not saying that he's raped other women before. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's not the first time that he disregarded doing the right thing. You don't just turn around and do the right thing for the rest for the entire life, and then tomorrow you just jump into this. We talked about the mentality of people sitting around waiting on exes in the parking lot the last segment. Look at the mentality. Look at what he was thinking. And everybody want to sit around there and say, "Oh, well, I was drunk." Well, to me, a drunk mind speaks sober thoughts. So what you do when you drunk is really what you are. You just got the sense enough when you're not inebriated not to do it. People sit around. Some people want to sit around there and talk about, "Oh, well, I act differently when I'm drunk." No, what you do is you act like you are when you're drunk. That's you. If you're a person who gets inebriated and laugh and loud, that's you. That's the real you. If you somebody who gets angry, yell, cuss, and want to fight when you're inebriated, that's you. That is not necessarily the alcohol. The alcohol just allows you to loosen up. So I don't know what the deal is. Please, I implore you to go online and look at her letter. Actually, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It wasn't to the judge. It was to the guy, actually. It says the victim read aloud a powerful letter to Turner. So she actually read this letter out loud, and then the judge sitting there on his high and mighty hump and give him 6 months. What is the judge saying? What is the judge saying? I'm telling you what the judge is saying. The judge is saying she put herself in that position. She shouldn't have been drunk. He shouldn't have did it, but I'm not going to destroy his life for something that she did. That's what the judge is saying by a 6 month sentence. I don't know this judge. I don't know if I'm not clairvoyant, but I would not be surprised if he could just give him probation, he would have. Same thing, the cat down there when the young man down there in Texas. I think it's Texas, where he drunk, he's underage, he gets behind a car, which he shouldn't, had no license, drunk, kills up what, 3, 4 people, and maims one, and he gets probation. Really? There should be consequences. It looks like there's only consequences. There's consequences with repercussions to everybody, but judges, lawyers, politicians, for the most part. There should be a system set up that all of it's like a instant replay type thing. That all your decisions are scrutinized, not by your peers, but by people over you. You shouldn't have to like what this here. I shouldn't have to, as if I'm the prosecutor, I shouldn't have to appeal to the court of appeal to go over this sentence. But then he's gonna say, "Oh, well, the sentence could have even been," and I don't know what the sentence structure is, but it probably went from 6 months to maybe 25 years, and he gave him the lowest of. So how do you have that type of chasm, if you will? How do you have that? 6 months to 25 years. I have to check. Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know is the what is the sentencing from 6 months to what, because I'd be very, very surprised if the low end wasn't 6 months. I don't think that is probation, but then again, look in Texas. He killed people and he got probation, you know? So we'll keep up on that. Now for the last 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna talk about my favorite team. My favorite team is the New York Knicks. All you Knicks fans know who you are. Stand up. I tell you, I live in Orlando. I enjoy the Magic. One of my favorite players used to play for the Magic. One of my best friends used to play for the Magic. So I have seen tickets to the Magic, season tickets for the Magic. Excuse me. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, and my favorite team's the New York Knicks, and they killing me. They killing me. I was one of the people who loved it when Phil Jackson came in. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it when he came in. Phil Jackson has done pretty much nothing. Now, he hired Jeff Hornacek, which is outside of his tree. And Jeff Hornacek, even though he had a bad start of the season last year, which got him fired, the year before that, which was his first year as a head coach in the NBA, he did very well. Very well. Very well. With his record, if you look at it, and I could be wrong, but if you look at it, his record with the Phoenix Suns, his first season, if the Phoenix Suns was in the East, they would have made it in the playoffs. Out West, I mean, shoot, you got the juggernauts out there. You got to win 50 games to make it to the playoffs. You got to win 50. You got to almost win 50 games to be the eighth seed out in the West. 50 games in the East will get you second or third, maybe even the fourth seed in the East. Okay, so I'm anxiously awaiting what's going on, but it's killing me. It's killing me. You got Melo. Melo's had, to me, his best season ever last year. I mean, led the team in scoring, which he always did, but he was up there in assists. He was up there in rebounds. He played some defense from time to time. Melo used to never play no defense. And I'm not saying that Melo should be on all defensive teams. I'm not saying that he should be on all defensive teams at all. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is he did play some defense. He played some defense. So I'm enjoying Melo. Now you think about it, he's over 30. I think he'd be 31 this year. So he got maybe about 3 good years of being a dominant person. And then you got KP Porzingis. He's not even at his peak yet. So hopefully, they can still gel, while Melo's on the top of his game. And then Lopez, to me, he was a sin. Do I think that he was do I think that he was a better or is a better defensive center than Tyson Chandler was when he was on top of his game? No. But do I think that he's a better center now than Tyson Chandler? Yes. So he was a guy. So I think the front line, Melo, KP, and Lopez is a pretty good front court. Now they back court is horrible, horrible, horrible. You have, I think Langston Galloway is pretty much one of they bright parts, and I don't even think he should be starting. Langston Galloway shouldn't be starting in NFL in the NBA. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. They need to get rid of old dude, the Spanish guy. He need to be gone. But I think he has I think this is his last season. I think he's coming up. I think he's making like $7 million against the cap or something like that. The Grant, you know, the Grant kid, he's doing pretty good. He got some rub at the end of the season and stuff. And he was doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good. He need to work on his shot. He already got the move to the basket. He can get to the basket, but he doesn't do that um, often enough. But then again, when you have people just sitting in the paint, it's kind of hard to get there. But he has to be a little bit more aggressive as far as that concerned. But he needs to shoot. He needs to shoot. Okay, and run the team when you're on there. Double A, Aaron O'Flalo. Bye. You know, there was a whole thing went down with the way he was put on the bench, and Sasha Vujic was put in a starting lineup by Kurt Rambis. I didn't like the way Kurt Rambis did it. I didn't like the way he handled it. But was he justified? Yeah, because Sasha was doing a whole heck of a lot better than what Aaron LaFleur was doing. So I think that Aflalo is going to opt out, which I hope he does, and keep it moving. But if he think he gonna opt out and make more money than he made last year with the Knicks, not with this season that just passed, he just won't do it. So I mean, he's just not consistent at all. Um, it sort of reminds me of Ron Harper. Oh, I'm dating myself. Ron Harper when he played for Cleveland. Ron Harper was a poor man's Michael Jordan. Aaron LaFleur is just a poor man's swing man. A shooting guard. His shot is very um, erratic. Defense. It's just So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that they can pick up somebody. I mean, you look at the free agents. Obviously the number one is Kevin Durant. Now people in the know are saying that the Knicks got a chance, especially if Carmelo is out there trying to push and and talk for them. They might can get KD. I don't see it. I really don't, because I'm like, well, where you gonna play? Unless you say, okay, we'll bring you on, we'll put you as a shooting guard. Then you have KD at the shooting guard, Melo at the swing at the small forward, KP at the power forward, Lopez at the center. Okay, but can everybody say that that Kevin Durant got that type of handle to be, or or play that type of defense, that type of lateral movement to guard other two guards? But then on that end, you'd be like, well, them two guards got to guard him on the other end. So KD is one of those players that I'm like, hey, just get him and then try to fit him in. LeBron is coming up. LeBron ain't going nowhere. Andre Drummond, he'd be nice, but he's a restricted free agent, and Detroit is not going to let him go nowhere. They're gonna give him the max. Now Hassan Whiteside, 7 foot, got a little offness about him. Um, but I can't see Pat Riley and them letting him go. DeMar DeRozan, not a fan. Mike Conley, maybe Mike Conley. I know during the season they were saying, okay, Mike Conley was interested in playing in New York and all that type of stuff, and I was really into it. But then he got hurt and stuff like that. So you think, okay, you're gonna have to give him close to the max. Is that somebody that you want to give? Knowing that he has, coming off a pretty major injury that sidelined him for the rest of the season last year. But then you got Al Horford, he's an unrestricted free agent. Maybe they can go ahead and get him and move him around to, I'm not going to say bring him off the bench because you can't bring him off the bench, but you know, they can find a spot for him, anywhere. I mean, when you have that type of talent, you can find a spot, even if it's spot duty, and switching him between him and KP and Robin Lopez and stuff like that. I say take a shot on it, you know. Then you think with D Howard, I really don't think that D Howard is going to opt out of 25, or what's it? They say, yeah, like $25 million. He's not going to get that. He's not going to get that at all. So anywhere else. So why would he do that? And to me, I think that he might do his last year there and then come back to the Magic. That's what I feel. I don't have any inside knowledge, but I just feel that way. Bradley Beal is somebody. He's a restricted free agent. I really don't. Dwayne Wade ain't going nowhere. Harrison Barnes, that'd be a nice pickup, but I don't think he's going nowhere. Now that everybody gonna have more cap space, why would he leave Golden State? Because from the last or the first two games, or the last two games, whatever you want to say, it looks like they're gonna be back-to-back champions. It looks like they gonna run Cleveland the heck off the court. Okay, if Cleveland doesn't get their stuff together and win these next two at home, they can cancel Christmas. They're gonna get the brakes beat off for real. Now, Pau Gasol That is intriguing. Get him come off the bench. He could be there to mentor KP. I think that'd be a great, great, great pickup. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I just want to give a little insight. I love talking about my Knicks. I have a bunch of questions and stuff like that. People want to talk about different teams and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe if this works out and I have the time to do it, maybe I might do a sports show, here and there and stuff like that. Maybe once a week we'll talk about different teams and stuff like that. Just chop it up and see where everybody's at, and do our little fantasy drafts and our dream picks, and we can complain and moan about some of the things that our favorite teams are doing. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what it is? But that's my time. I think, yeah, it's been about an hour that we've been on here, and I sure appreciate it. Uh, let's just think about what we can do to better not only our lives but everybody else's lives. See what we can do to save this planet. See what we could do to save this republic. See what we could do to save our souls if you believe in that type of stuff. Just think, hey, this person that I met might be a butthole, but I don't know what happened in that person's life the minute before I met them. If we start thinking that way, we might be a little bit more compassionate to other people. So be informed, be blessed. Have a great one. I see you Saturday at noon, and we'll be good to go. Have a good one. Good night.